Well, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and I am back at Prestige Refinishing to have another look at the Lancia Fulvia Sport, which has already been transformed from that horror story last time I was here, when we uncovered those terrible repairs and that metalwork, etc., and all the filler. 30 some kilos of filler was on the car. They've been sending me video clips of Adrian, who's the main metal worker here, refinishing the body and actually making it the right shape. It's just been an utter education of what you actually do when you get a body shell like that and how you repair it. So what I'm going to do on this visit, Adrian and Sam are here, we'll walk round, but I'm actually going to put in this video the clips they've been sending me of Adrian in action, as it were, of how you change the shape of a metal body when you've got this horror stories to deal with. So it's been utterly fascinating, as I say. Now, the other thing I've done is brought a little model down, which is the only model I can find of a Lancia Fulvia Sport, and it's in orange, and it just gives a sort of indication of the shape and what it's going to look like when we're finished. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go behind the camera, Sam and Adrian are going to give me a tour around the car, and we'll go and see what they've been up to over the last few weeks. Hello, Adrian. Yeah, my goodness, you've done some work since I was last here, and thank you so much for sending those clips around as well, Sam. Yeah, just extraordinary. Yeah, I don't know where to start with what the bits you've been doing, but the first bit actually you sent me was the roof. Do you want to? Yeah. And the bit I couldn't get over, you working on this roof and you were getting this shape back, and it almost looked like you were sort of shaping wood or something when you sent that clip to me, and I just never, that thing you got.
Yeah, this is a body file.
Yeah.
Probably 40 years old, that. I bought that when I was an apprentice.
Right.
And there was quite a dip there where the two panels never met.
Yeah.
And what I've done was got underneath it and was able to push it out and ease it up, and then use this body file, which then tells me the high and low spots, so then I can work on them to try and get it as level as possible. But that's the best that I can get that, because obviously I'm reworking someone else's work.
Well, you were tapping it up as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
Using that hammer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
That's one of them.
There's several shaping hammers.
Yeah,
but
several.
Because Sam, this wasn't right, was it? This is a big. I can't remember
the
what
profile now actually is almost perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, use different hammers, panel hammers. It's a flat one, and then tools for easing it up, and that one stretches. Yeah, I can stretch the panel with it and put different shapes in.
God, that is absolutely there. And there was quite a dip there,
massive.
wasn't it?
There was about ½ inch of filler in there, at least.
Yeah, it was completely wrong, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely
the
wrong.
profile
Yeah,
actually done that.
Yeah.
Sort of met in the
dipped
middle.
in. Yeah.
Because I think the surprise as we walk around this car is you haven't actually replaced the metal, you've just reshaped
A lot of it. Yeah.
There.
I mean, like the other side, you can see where these panels have been put on.
Yeah.
They've lapped them over. Instead of butt joining them, they've lapped them over. So what I've done is I've dressed that edge out to level that panel up with this one, and then using my body file,
so that
giving me the high and the low spots.
Yeah.
And here again, what they've done, they've cut the metal and overlapped it.
So there's 2 layers of metal
on this bit, yeah, which makes a trap for any moisture gets in there and can rust.
Yeah.
It should be cut and butt joined, but obviously we can't do that now. So what I'll do is I'll dress this metal out so these two are level, and then we only put a skimmer filler in. No, I'm not going to cut that. I'm going to dress the metal together.
I don't know what you mean by dressing. Sorry, it's,
beat it out. I'll beat this edge out. So it comes level with this panel.
Oh, I see.
So instead of it overlapping like that, you've got a ridge.
Yeah.
I'll beat that up so it's level.
Right.
And then we only got to put a skimmer filler over it then.
Yeah. Well, the other amazing one was actually over in that corner, that you actually put a new panel in, didn't you? And it was so
bad. I made up a small section first.
Yeah.
That I was going to put there, but then the rest of the panel was so bad that I made a new piece up and put in.
Well, now that looks super smooth right across there, and I'm going to Now just put in those clips. There's quite a number of clips on this one because you actually had to treat underneath as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
once you remove that metal.
This is my wing section I'm making up. I've folded the edges, put the swage line in, and I've hammered that over, ready to go on. So this is going to go here. Once I get the shape right, that'll go in there. Just putting a contour on it so it's got a slight curve to match the wing, and then I'm going to hammer the bottom one in as well. What I'm doing there is stretching the metal that way so it gives it a curve. Up now, and coated it in zinc spray. Now I've had this on and had the door on, and it's about there. So now I'm going to put it on again and tack it all up, and then try the door on again.
Yeah,
See,
that's the old wing.
That's the overlap. So you just get rust in there.
And that's why they corrode inside out,
Yeah.
because they can't get to the back of it.
Untreated as well.
Untreated, yeah. And there's your overlapped piece of steel in there that traps all the dirt and mud.
Yeah. That's.
So they're all just overlapped now.
Yeah.
Any bit of that was original from Zagato left at the factory then.
Oh, it's probably that bit.
That bit
Yeah.
there.
And that's where they cut it and then just overlapped it.
What a mess. What an utter mess. And now, after all that work, that looks just factory to me. I couldn't get over the way you'd actually shaped the size of it as well. It's not just a flat bit of metal, was it?
No.
You know.
No.
It
I
was
had to hammer all this in by hand, and this fold, because that folds right the way round and flaps right round, and it hammers together so I can make all that as well. I mean that bottom one I made on the folded that on the folder we've got, and this crease I folded on the folder. But the rest of them are done by hand.
And this part of the wing is all reshaped as well.
Yeah, and see where I've brought them level, because that again was 2 layers of metal there, one on the other one, and I've hammered this bottom skin up so it's level now, so it only has a skim there, and this is where I've shrunk it.
Yeah, now that's something I've never heard before. Oh, I've shrunk the metal. But some tool over there.
Yeah, we've got a puller, and it can shrink it. So you heat the metal in one spot and then blast it with cold air.
Yeah.
And what it does, it shocks the metal and brings it in tight and shrinks it. The front part of this wing I was managed to pull out with this puller. So we pulled the recess where it recessed out. So we've got a good contour on this wing now.
As I say, the shock is you haven't actually replaced the horrible metalwork.
No.
You've just made it.
Yeah.
So it's the right shape.
Yeah, hammered it out.
Which, as you say, you weren't actually dealing with rock with this car. It was just these
it's
crazy
really
panels.
We've addressed some rock bits, but most of it is just reworking the work that's been done on this.
And obviously round there, when we get to the front panel, then we'll come right across here and then we'll readdress this horrible area there as well.
Yeah.
We'll take the paint off of all the lamp blades as well.
Right.
And see what's going on under there and readdress them.
But it's those crease lines and the swage lines that are the ones suddenly we have shape here, and we had no wheel arch before here. I sent you that clip of that photograph. That shape, that sort of eyebrow over the wheel arch was not there at all, was it, before?
No, it wasn't. It was completely filled from the arch lip right to the top of the wing.
Just mad. Yeah. So it just lost its shape completely. I'm amazed. Then the next one, door skins. whether you're going to replace the door skins because it's just not worth repairing.
No, and the bottom of the door frame itself has gone. So we're going to make a template, a paper template of this door skin.
Yeah.
And then Sam's friend's going to cut that out on a laser cutter.
Right.
And he's going to put the bottom fold in, the middle fold, and that top fold.
Right.
And then he will laser etch the back of the door skin on that fold. So then when I get the door skin back, I can then hammer it over.
So it's like a score line that makes it fold.
It'll naturally
on
fold
edge.
on that line then.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got to, once that's done, we need to put a radius on the skin.
Yeah.
Oh right, so you will actually hammer the radius.
Well, we'll do that on an English wheel.
Oh, okay.
Just roll that out, just to give that a slight contour.
Right.
Yeah, so the back of the door is a slight different curve to the front. It actually has got more of a curve at the front edge than the back.
Oh right. So as you look down,
if you look
I
down,
see. Yes, so that's shallower than at the back. I did send you a curveball, essentially do an alloy door, but you've slightly put me off.
Yeah, unfortunately the strength in the door is the skin. So if we did that, I think the door itself would be too weak. Buckle.
Okay. The shut lines and that will be defined by the door skin.
Yeah,
we can put those in.
That swage line that's on the door is in the wrong place anyway.
Right.
It's slightly, so what I've done was when I made this swage line, I marked this up.
Yeah.
I pinged a line from there through to here.
Oh right.
To get it right. So then when we make our pattern,
is that door skin? Sorry to interrupt. That door skin is then not factory. That's been replaced.
No, because it's over the top of part of another of the original.
So
that's what's got.
Because I did look at that. I think that's a bit out. But that's so this one is in
right.
with the right one with the back.
Yeah, I don't know whether you can see it.
Right.
If you try and have a look up inside, you can see the original door skin.
The door skin they've left on
in there. Just
there. Oh good lord.
Yeah, there.
That's the original
Is
door
the
skin.
original door skin. And they haven't even bothered to cut that off.
Good lord.
They've just gone over the top.
God, that's
And this is all bronze welded in here and all brass.
right.
And you don't never use brass on there because the flux used for brass is borax, which is a salt which will make it corrode anyway. It's not blend off properly. Yeah. And then once that's off, then when we make our template of that will be stuck on that door, and I'll mark that line so the crease will be exactly the right place.
In the right place. And then you've done some more magic on the roof, basically, just up here.
Yeah.
Just
this was all perforated here along the edge of the roof, so I cut that section out, and then the box section underneath was exactly the same.
Right.
So I made two sections, welded the box section in, and then welded this bit over the top. And butt welded it in.
Yeah, it's just so smooth. I mean, it's body shape. I'm going to put those videos in as well because there's several of you cutting that out and just offering it up. So here are those clips now. We've
uncovered this in this roof here, which is quite nasty, and then there's rust up further. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out, and I've made a new panel to fit into this. So that's what's going to happen next. Is I'm going to cut that out, weld that in there, clean all this off of here, MIG weld that, butt MIG weld that in there, and spot weld the roof skin back onto there. That would be the panel. So that's the roof, and then I have to say my heart sank when Gordon at Day and Wrights took this window, just fell out, didn't it? Because they put metal on top. Yeah, and this was too wide. It was right out in. Yeah. So the window would never go in. No. So what I've done is I cut that all the way along there. Yeah. And cut a piece out, and then re-welded it in the right position. And we've had the window in. It all fits now. Yeah. That's amazing. There was a bit of a shaping at the top of the window or something as well. There's a section up here that had rotted out, so I made a new piece and put in there, and it's all been spot welded as well, so as original. And this section of roof that I put in has all been spot welded, so it's not all just MIG'd everywhere. Yeah. The other thing is if you remember back in the original videos, this lip was really thick. Yeah. And there was like 3 layers. Right. Down this lip here, that's now removed, and that's now back to how
how it should be.
There was so much to mistake. The bit I haven't actually asked yet is how many hours you think you've put into the car. Have you any idea?
Yeah, you know exactly.
Lots. It's not that much actually. It's less than you think.
100 hours have you put into it?
It's probably it's probably about 100.
Yeah.
80, 100 hours. Maybe.
Yeah, 80, 100 hours to get to this stage.
Yeah, Sam's just left me on it.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that you're 2 days a week and retired, but you come in for special projects and jobs like this. That's a bit of a challenge. We had a lot of comments saying just it was a master whoever did it before with filler, but he must have spent hours doing the filler compared to how many just tap it out, make it the right shape in the first place.
Yeah, he must have.
A lot of the time we find that when we take filler out of panels, that they put so much in because they've lost their way,
right?
And then they keep on adding filler, and then they go on to the next panel, add some more filler to that because this one was wrong in the first place, so they end up really thick of filler,
right?
For no real need.
Right, and that's probably what happened here, isn't it?
And then you end up half-inch filler everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think what they've done here is when they welded these sections in, they've done it as one solid weld all the way along, and it's distorted the panel to hell.
Right.
I mean, what I do is when I put something like this in, I'll spot it all the way along and just keep building the weld up and keep cooling the roof down. Otherwise, that would have gone all over, the same as what this has done.
Right.
And I think that's what they've done. They've gone straight round with the weld.
And they've not bothered to address that afterwards.
No.
They've just filled straight over it.
Yeah.
Right. That is because that was the ugliest bit of metalwork I'd ever seen. This bit, bother, we didn't make it the right size. Let's just put a little bit in the middle.
Yeah.
And
Sort of cut a piece out, put a piece in because we got it short when we made it.
I know. And now we've got
now we've got a panel that fits.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
And then when we get to the rear end, we'll address this section here. As they've welded it, this sort of highlights what they've done. So they've welded it through here, and it's pulled the two panels in like that.
Right.
And instead of actually addressing that panel, you can probably see how much that's pulled in.
Yeah.
Rather than actually beating this out afterwards and addressing it, they've just literally
filled it properly in the first place. They don't do that.
I'm fascinated that you spot weld. I think that makes absolute sense. It doesn't get the heat, does it?
Yeah.
It's just
you do.
all the way
start
along.
there and there, and just keep building the weld up. Otherwise, the roof would go like that.
It's just lovely to see metal curved correctly, and the amount of filler you're going to need to correct, to actually make it paint finish.
It's minimal.
Absolutely minimal now. Yeah, just such a result.
So, like this area, I'll beat that out, and I've been working on this one and all.
Oh right, good lord.
See, this one was in, and now we've got a perfect radius.
Good lord. Yeah.
So where that had been welded, so that had pulled in exactly the same.
Yeah.
And then it just filled it.
I didn't even notice it just looks factory finished.
Yeah.
But it obviously isn't.
Use his body file again on that.
Yeah, that was a good buy, wasn't it, 40 years ago?
Yeah. Well, I've got different shape ones. Well, I've got curved ones for getting into, arches and that.
So this is what this side looked like, but this side was actually slightly worse than this one. So once Adrian's finished with that one, it should.
I'm working around this side now.
Right, a minute. What was this?
Well, there was a big dent there.
Right.
It was popped right in, so I've been using the puller to pull it out.
Oh, that.
And you can see where I've gone over with my body file, and it highlights the high spots and then the low spots, and then I'll gradually work all that out.
And then hammer that.
I'm just about to get my hand in there with a dolly.
Oh, I see, because you have the dolly underneath, the metal hard, you're hammering against that.
And then we sort of address this issue here. You can see the filler and rust. Yeah. They've addressed it, and they've not actually cleaned it out or put anything on it before they filled it. And then we've literally that edge, so there's a bit missing here, which we've got to sort out. So you can see it just there. Yeah. And then that extends all the way around
That's
the
amount
arch.
of filler that was in it.
We can see it. It's just a joke, isn't it? How much is in there? Just look at that craziness there. Awful. And then you're gonna.
We'll cut that off from there. I think
we might make it right up to there.
'cause
Right.
that's horrific. I mean, even filled over holes in the rear arch.
Yeah. No, real mess.
Real mess.
Yeah, I can't wait to the next visit because I just want that to disappear. That is, unrescuable. And you've another door, roof
Another roof
panel in
section,
here as
yeah.
well.
I've repaired the inner box section and the roof skin.
Yeah.
This section of the roof is exactly the same as the other side. It's had a bit of metal welded in there that's not very nice. So I'm going to cut that out, and then I've got this bit of metal that I'm going to reshape by hammer and then weld it into there. Just cut the outer skin off, and as you can see it's quite nasty and rotten, and that's the bit of metal that had been welded in there. But then it's exposed the box section underneath, which is rotten. So I'm going to have to make a section to repair this inner box section before I weld the outer skin on. Right, I've been hammering this section up, so as you can see now it's curved. It's got a curve on it which matches this roof. So it's the same curve. But now that's pretty close to fitting, but now I've got to curve it this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat this edge and stretch the metal so it forces it to curve that way. So that's the next section I'll do, and then I'll get it fitting properly, cut it out and weld it in. This panel hammer, because it's got a curve that way, so as I hit the metal it stretches it both sides, which will then give me the curve that way. Just see it's starting to curve now. It's just gone off the flat. Right, this is a galvanised primer that we're using to protect the inside. So I've cut out all of the rotten piece and I've made the new bit now ready to go in.
So weld-through primer.
That's a weld-through primer, yeah. So this piece here is going to go in and that makes the box section. So the next job is tackle that in and weld that in, and then I'll make the roof section exactly the same. Section's all in, and I've coated that with zinc primer. I've made my new roof section, which is going to fit in there. That will fit in there like that.
Perfect.
I'm just about to weld that in now.
You make it sound easy and obvious, but I'm sure it isn't. But it's just so different when you look at that mess to this. I mean, it's staggering. That's almost. I mean, that's factory, really. I mean, I couldn't wish for better. And yet, it's those original rubbish panels that you've turned into this. Yeah. Well, I brought a little model round. Which is on the roof. So this is what we're aiming at, and that's sort of the right colour. This little model. There we are. Yeah, we can't see it in this light. There we are. The little model. But you found some orange on the bottom. Yeah. Oh, where is
just
it?
Here.
Ah, right.
Just see a bit of orange there.
There it is. So a little bit of original orange.
And it looks the right colour.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think there's only the one.
I see on the comments on one of your videos somebody's put the colour, the name of the colour and the code.
Yeah, I saw that as well, which is I'm very grateful. I'll go back and pop that up, that comment, because that's really handy to have that information.
We'll put that in the computer actually, and we'll see if we can trace that as well.
Right.
See if we can actually mix a part up and spray that out.
It's amazing the difference a few weeks makes. You've been really at it. Is this 3 weeks, 4 weeks? I think you've been. It's not a lot, is it?
Weeks,
yeah, about 3 weeks, and the transformation, and just the fact that we've got that shape in, I'm just overjoyed at. So, how much longer do you think you've got on the body? Another 2 weeks, we'll see it done.
Well,
Yeah, I reckon probably another 5 or 6 days.
5 or 6
on the
days.
actual
on this
right.
bit, then we've got to make the
And
rear
then-
sections.
right.
Yeah.
That's the trickier bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to make the rear section in 3 parts. So we'll have that corner.
I think originally that was made in 3 parts as well.
Yeah, they have to be. And then the centre, and then the other corner.
Around there. And then paint.
Yep, then we'll be on to starting the paintwork.
So where are we now? Middle August, middle September. Yeah, it's October. We should be
Going to be thereabouts.
Going off.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, gents. That's absolutely mega to see. I'm, as I say, the shape of it and it looks way better than I expected. Gazillion times better actually than you first uncovered and what was underneath there. So I'm very enjoying that. And yeah, thanks for doing all the work and turning it into a completely different car. Can't wait to see the end result. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tour around the transformed Zagato. 3 corners done, 1 more corner to do, and then that rear valance. But you just get the sense that this car is coming back to its former glory and happening rather quicker than I expected. It's staggering to me how few hours, I mean it's still a lot of hours, but few hours to actually get to this stage, and just makes you wonder why it wasn't done in the first place when this car was restored in year 2000 or thereabouts. And I'm getting this little model. I had to search long and hard eBay, outside people who specialise in models. Finally found this little model of a Zagato in Italy and sent over. It just gives a sense of what that colour will look like on this car. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. There'll be more coming on. I think the next visit, all the body will be done, the door skins will be on, and we're going to paint. So yeah, it's been quite a journey with this car. Over at Day and White, Gordon sent me photographs yesterday of the exhaust manifold that's arrived. It's tubular manifold, a bunch of bananas going on the side of the engine and adding to the horsepower. So there's still some more work going on over there. So yeah, lots going on. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, well, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.
Only once a thin layer in it just bombs it to it then.